Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. I am Adam. This is United Daily Live, the place where you get your latest Manchester United news, headlines, transfer rumours, and everything else as well. A little bit of on this day stuff chucked on top too. And today we are dealing with more transfer talk, more talk about Alex Telles's potential move to Manchester United as United continue to haggle over the transfer fee of Alex Telles to Manchester United. We thought this one could be one of those deals that would be straightforward, smooth sailing, simple fee to be agreed with the rumoured transfer fee of 20 to 23 million euros. But it looks like Manchester United are trying to bring that price down, or are we trying to get players out first before we make this signing of Alex Telles and any other business that Manchester United may be in the market for happening? Like, are we trying to get players out first? Do we need to get rid of Smalling, Romero, and anybody else that's been linked with a move away from United before we can make these players United players and make these deals happen? So we'll be looking at the latest news in regards to Alex Telles. We'll be looking at the League Cup draw. Brighton, they won today. They beat Preston away from home, which means we'll now go away from home to Brighton 2 times on the spin. We've got them this weekend in the Premier League, and we'll play them next week as well, midweek, in the League Cup 4th round. So we've got an away trip to Brighton next up for Manchester United. The Smalling to Roma move looks like it's edging closer, but we've heard this all before, and Bailly could be in the last chance saloon of his Manchester United career as well, with this season ahead proving to be a critical one for Eric Bailly's future at the club. Obviously, he played against who did we play last time out? Luton Town. He played against Luton Town last time out. For me, he was man of the match. He was our best player, but obviously was against Luton Town. We need to see Eric Bailly playing more consistently, playing regularly, and I think he could be that guy that holds down a spot next to Harry Maguire. In my opinion, when fit, when playing regularly, Eric Bailly is our best centre-half. I think he's better than Lindelof. I think he's better than Maguire. I think, I'd like to see him starting week in, week out. But we know that's not just down to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That's also down to the player staying fit and staying available. I'd like to see him play this weekend against Brighton. If he's fit enough to play that. That's the question you've always got to ask yourself. But with Eric Bailly, he has been fit for the last couple of months, hasn't he? He's been available, he's been in the squad, so hopefully it's a sign of things to come with Eric Bailly. And with the addition of maybe playing regular football, if he can hold down that fitness for a prolonged period, I think it'd be great news for Manchester United, great news for him, and great news for Harry Maguire if he can have a partner next to him, who's got the pace, who's got the ability to pass the ball out from the back. Yes, Bailly looks erratic at times, but I think he does do that. So we'll be looking at that Eric Bailly story as well, with Eric Bailly potentially being his last chance at Man United. If it's Eric Bailly's last chance, who else's last chance is it at Manchester United? But anyway, before we get stuck into that, let's have a look at it on this day. It is the 23rd of September today, and on this day, in 2007, Sunday the 23rd of September 2007, Paddy Crerand, a member of the Reds' great side of the 1960s, signs more than 300 copies of his autobiography, Never Turn the Other Cheek, at the Old Trafford megastore. The wing half, an old school position, had helped Matt Busby's Reds to the FA Cup, 2 Football League titles, and a European Cup. That European Cup coming in 1968 after he arrived from Celtic in 1963. He continues his link with the club through working for the club's in-house television. He tells the Daily Telegraph 6 days later, "I've been here a long time, all right, as player, assistant manager, and now what is it? Alan Green calls me a so-called pundit. I like Alan, I think he's a great broadcaster, but that made me laugh, so-called pundit." Remind me, who exactly did Alan Green win the European Cup with? As always, Paddy Crerand being his usual cheeky self, and getting a little digging in the process to Alan Green. I love Alan Green as a broadcaster. Used to be on the radio a lot when I was a kid, and I remember, obviously not every game was televised, so if you didn't have a ticket to the game, which was most away games for me as a kid, then I'd be listening in on the radio. And I think Alan Green used to be the one on the radio most of the time. I think if I put the right name to a voice. But yeah, Paddy Crerand on this day signed autobiographies at the Megastore. Nevertheless, we'll go on with the show and we'll look at the Alex Telles latest. We know with Manchester United have been linked with left backs before, and you know we were in for Sergio Reguilon. I think that's clear. We were in for Sergio Reguilon. We didn't go any further with the Sergio Reguilon deal because of that buyback clause, which I think was sensible business by Manchester United. Then we were looking around, and you look at Alex Telles on the market, get goals, gets assists, something that we're lacking from a fullback position. I think Luke Shaw is okay defensively, not massively great going forward. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, fantastic defensively, not amazing going forward. Obviously got the odd assist, but not his strength. And there's nothing wrong with that as a fullback. If you're better defensively, that's the way around you want to be. You don't want to be a better attacking fullback and not being able to defend, because you're not going to make it at most clubs. Depends on a system, obviously. But with that being said, we do clearly need something at left back. Now, we're hearing reports from Fabrizio Romano and also the Telegraph as well. Now, Fabrizio Romano, will go to his reports as they came out first in relation to Alex Telles today. But what he said was that Manchester United had a list with 3 names for left back. The first one was Sergio Reguilon, and then you also had Alex Telles. Last Friday, Manchester United had direct contact with an agent talking about signing another left back. They said they want to and are going to sign Alex Telles. They are convinced they can buy him. So that was Fabrizio Romano, who has also said that United have agreed terms with his agent, which has been reported in a number of places that United have agreed terms with Alex Telles' agent, and you know we're in a strong position to make the move happen. But like we are with Jadon Sancho, you need to agree a fee with the club, otherwise the player's not going to come. That's obvious. And then we had the Telegraph coming in on this news as well, saying Manchester United and FC Porto are still haggling over the fee for Alex Telles, and the 2 clubs remained apart on their valuation on Wednesday. A deal is likely to progress quickly should a compromise be reached. Solskjaer believes United need more quality fullback options. Alex Telles would provide direct competition for Luke Shaw, freeing up Brandon Williams to offer Aaron Wan-Bissaka cover at right back. Then you'd probably imagine Diogo Dalot would be on his way out from Manchester United. Potentially, you send Ethan Laird on loan. Keep maybe Timothy Fosu-Mensah as a squad option because he can play in a number of positions. Left back, right back, centre mid. Maybe you keep him in the squad just in case. I don't know whether he wants to leave or not, but he may fancy giving it another go at Manchester United, seeming as he's kept fit recently. But you'd imagine Diogo Dalot would be the one that would probably leave. And you could recoup a lot of the Alex Telles funds through Diogo Dalot being sold, through Chris Smalling being sold, Phil Jones, Marcus Rojo. The problem is United are struggling to get these players off their books. Now, even players that clubs do want, Chris Smalling being one of them, the negotiations are dragging on. Now, I think that's fair for Manchester United, because if we look at the Chris Smalling reports, now Fabrizio on his Here We Go podcast, and these quotes come via United Report, he said, I have to be honest, something is changing with the Chris Smalling to Roma deal. He says, they are changing the people that are working on the deal, and my feeling is that Chris Smalling is coming back to Roma. Although he has Di Marzio has recently said, if Inter Milan sell Milan Skriniar to Tottenham, now Inter Milan wants 60 million euros for him, so whether that happens or not remains to be seen. He says they will try to sign Fiorentina's Nikola Milenkovic with Chris Smalling as an alternative. So we could see Inter Milan maybe coming for Chris Smalling, but that would be further down the line. You're waiting for one deal to happen to trigger another deal. Again, a position United are probably familiar with at this moment in time. But we're waiting for this Chris Smalling deal to happen. Let's read some more on this. So we read that quote from Fabrizio where he said, my feeling is that Chris Smalling will be coming back to AS Roma. So we hear that in relation to it. Now, Chris Smalling, what's going to happen there? We heard United had rejected an offer of £11 million from Roma and hope to get at least £18 million. And I think that's fair. Like, when you look at, I think Skriniar is a better centre-back than Chris Smalling. But when you look at the price Inter demanding for Skriniar, €60 million, why can't United demand €25 million for Chris Smalling, who performed well in the same league? I don't see why that's an issue. If Roma want him so much, pay up the money. They've recently made a few sales. Are they seeing United's desperation to maybe complete this deal so that we can spend those funds elsewhere, and therefore maybe we'll just accept anything from Roma in order to get the deal done? Maybe they're seeing that from Manchester United, so they're just going to keep lowballing us. But we've heard they're going to step up their pursuit, and we're expected to submit a second bid this week. So the Smalling one's dragging on. Alex Tellers is dragging on. It's all dragging on right now in relation to Manchester United transfers, both in and out of the club, unfortunately. Hopefully we'll get some, we've got less than 2 weeks, is it, of the transfer window less? Less than 2 weeks. So if United are going to be signing 2 players, you'd imagine there's going to be a flurry of activity if we're going to be selling that amount of players as well in the next 12, 13 days. So I could be very busy in the next 2 weeks, but at the moment everything is dragging on, and we're haggling over the Alex Tellers fee, despite terms being agreed with the player. Deja vu with Jadon Sancho, we continue to haggle over the fee. Now, in relation to the football side of things, Manchester United beat Luton Town 3-0 yesterday, and we now know that we'll play in the next round Brighton next week. So we're going to play Brighton on Saturday, 12:30 p.m. kickoff, and then we're going to play Brighton next week. It'll probably be Tuesday or Wednesday. The game will be. I imagine they'll be announced in the next day or so, with TV dates and all those kind of things. But United have a trip to Brighton. Difficult game that. Brighton looking good. Played well against Chelsea in the first game. Chelsea were fortunate to get 3 points. Beat Newcastle in their second game. They're obviously still going good in the League Cup as well. You look at the likes of Tariq Lamptey for them. I think he's a fantastic talent, playing really well at the moment. Bissouma's a big miss for them. I think he'll miss both games because he missed today's game through suspension. He was suspended for 3 games, I think, so he'll miss both games. United have got Brighton 2 times back to back. It's like Wolves all over again. I think we played Wolves like 4 times in 3 days once. That's how it felt anyway. But now we've got Brighton back to back, and you'll have 2 Brighton previews in a week, 2 reactions to Brighton in a week, 2 watch-alongs with Brighton in a week over on Paddock. Should be fun. Talking about fixtures, United's game against Tottenham has been rescheduled for the 4th. At 4:30. It was originally going to be the 3rd of October. It's now been pushed to the 4th of October, and it's a 4:30 p.m. kickoff. That is the game after we play Brighton twice. So Spurs up after that. Joseph Zam said, "Did you hear United might not be able to afford Sancho's wages? What's going on?" I don't think it's anything to do with affording his wages. I think it's to do with putting the fee up front. Manchester United probably don't want to put £108 million up front, so they're haggling over how to structure that deal. I think the wages would be the least of their worries. We've just got Alexis Sanchez off the wage bill. We'll be having Chris Smalling be going off the wage bill soon. We haven't made that many signings, and when you look at the people that have come off the wage bill in the last couple of years, Ashley Young, Romelu Lukaku, all these different players that have left, Ander Herrera, a few others, and then the players that came in, the wages that they would have been demanding wouldn't have been anywhere near some of the wages that went out. So United have saved a lot of money on wages in the last couple of years in terms of players that have gone out, players that will go out as well, and the players that we brought in maybe not even competing with anything close to the wages that went out. So I don't think it'll be a wages thing. I think it'll be that fee straight up front. Now, Atani says, "Is the Sancho deal off?" Look, the latest on the Sancho deal is we've had a few updates on that as well today. The latest on that is, so the Telegraph said, "It remains to be seen if United make a late attempt for Jadon Sancho or sign an alternative but Solskjaer wants a right-sided forward. So that's from the Telegraph, but that was a side note in the Alex Telles stuff. Then we heard from Fabrizio Romano in his podcast that Borussia Dortmund have Ismail Assar on a list of potential replacements, and they're convinced that Ismail Assar could be the replacement for Jadon Sancho. So why are Dortmund lining up potential replacements if Jadon Sancho is going nowhere? A potential alternative for Jadon Sancho was rumoured to be Ousmane Dembele, but Fabrizio also reported that Dembele has told United and Liverpool he wants to stay at Barcelona and does not want to move. So that's where we are with that one. We believe United are still interested. They're going to make another bid, and Ismail Assar has been lined up as a replacement. Make of that what you will. But that's where we are with Jadon Sancho. There's not really any more news on it. For months it's been reported we've agreed what would be the contract with him. For months, for weeks, months. Feels like years we've agreed the terms with him. It's just been agreeing that fee with Borussia Dortmund that United have found difficult. And obviously Dortmund are in a strong position. At least it looks that way. Talking about players that we'd hope to be in a strong position, Eric Bailly. We hear from the MEN that his future at United hinges on this season. United are hoping to sell Smalling and Rojo. Jones and Bailly could be sold next summer. Looks like we can't get rid of Phil Jones because of his injury issues and his wages. A centre-back signing is probable next year, although United have not ruled out signing one this window. I imagine signing a centre-back depends on the amount of outgoings we have. If you see Andreas Pereira, Diogo Dalot, Chris Smalling, Marcus Rojo, Phil Jones, if you see all those guys leave, we'll probably end up buying a centre half. But I don't think you will see all those guys leave. So therefore, we're not going to sign a centre half. If I had to make a prediction, I think we'll sign Alex Telles in the next week, and then we'll leave it late and we'll sign Jadon Sancho. That's a prediction. That's not in the know. That's not anything like I've heard. I just feel that's what we're going to see in the next couple of weeks. I wouldn't be surprised though if we just signed Alex Telles, didn't sign anybody else, the way things are going. Because I can see Ollie saying, I don't want an alternative that isn't good enough. Like there is, like with Gareth Bale, you could see a year loan option if he was still on the market. Obviously, like it makes sense. You could see bringing someone in for a year, but actually signing someone, I don't think he would want to do that at all on a long-term deal if they're not his main choice. He'd probably still want to get Jadon Sancho, and the club would say, "Oh, we'll get him next year." I don't think we do get him next year, but that's probably what they'd think. But I think we'll end up signing him late on in the transfer window. Talking about wages being an issue as well. Manchester United's demands for a substantial fee for Sergio Romero on top of his £90,000 a week wages have been a deterrent for a number of interested parties. That came from the Telegraph. Is another one that we're struggling to get rid of, because you can see why United would demand a fee of 10, 15 million for someone of Sergio Romero's quality. But at the same time, you can see why clubs wouldn't want to pay him £100,000, £90,000 a week. Manchester United can, we can pay people those kind of wages, unfortunately. Bernie says, I'm optimistic with Telles. Dortmund have Sarr as an alternative if Sancho leaves, says Joe Harby. Yeah, we just discussed that one. Thank you for joining us, Joe. Thought Lamptey is a right back, says Jamie. He is a right back. Not sure what the combo is in there. Loan James to Leeds. He could develop like White, says Achin. I don't think we gain anything from loaning James out. I'd just sell him. If we were going to get rid of him, that is. Like, if we only signed Jadon Sancho, and that's looking on the bright side of things, if we only signed Jadon Sancho as an attacking signing, I wouldn't get rid of Daniel James anyway. Because you'd imagine Pereira's going to leave. I think we need width. And Daniel James is one of a few that gives us that, even if he maybe doesn't have the quality that we need at times. So, yeah. Darcy says, I used to be a believer in James. I'm not anymore. He's one-dimensional. Look, can't rush to write him off, but I feel the same way. Why don't the board just give Ollie what he wants and they can assess what he likes, but with the players at his disposal, says Ross. Because that would be mean making our lives easy, and we know they don't like to do that. Message says Upper Meccano 50, Sar 35, Tellez 25, 110 million. Had enough of the Sancho saga. Yeah, you imagine having the confidence United could make 3 deals happen. Yeah, no chance we get Adama Traore. It's an absolute circus of recruitment, says Ross. Yeah, and it's United have backed themselves into a weird situation as well, because they've gone from paying whatever to teams to now trying to stay firm and say we're not going to pay whatever you guys demand for players, because it doesn't, like, I understand doing that, but once you trying to change that mentality and change clubs how they're dealing with you's mentality is difficult, and it's going to take maybe a summer of inaction to say to these teams, look, we're serious with this mentality. But I think United in the end just end up cracking because of the pressure that they find themselves under. Pressure under here. Henderson is a talent, says Phil Lopez. He is indeed. Thank you for the super chat, Phil. Get your super chats in if you want. We've got about 4 or 5 minutes left of the show. Make sure you join in AdamMcKola TV if you can, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing too. We're close to 90k now, well on the road to 100,000 subscribers. I know a couple of you, maybe half of you watching this won't be subscribed, so click that subscribe button. Do us a favour. How can we sell and loan 5-6 players and buy 1 or 2 players in just 2 weeks' time? Says Khalil. Because at the end of the window, teams do a lot of, like, you see deals happening quicker, don't you? And you'd think the Smalling deal is like quite close. The Alex Tellez deal, for example, if we've agreed terms, it's quite so. In a matter of days, these deals could just be done like that, because most of the legwork's been done over the last couple of days, weeks, months, whatever. Plus, teams will add that extra bit of money, or they'll take a little bit less money as you get closer to the deadline, because they know they need to do business and get the players back in on the other end. So you will see a flurry of deals obviously happening. Larry said it's quite simple. If the board don't back Ollie, then it's clear they are not after success, and I think that's a fair point to be made as well. And you do feel like the club are at that stage where whenever we get Champions League football, they get complacent, they get lazy, they get happy with where that's their ambitions for us to be a Champions League club. And if you win the league, or you win the Champions League, or you win a trophy, that's down to the manager's work. Like, look at Fergie, he was a genius. He managed to do those things for us. We're relying on the genius of these managers. Maybe someone like Ollie sticking it out for 3, 4, 5 transfer windows, eventually getting what he wants over those transfer windows when he should have got it in 2 or 3, and then having a team to be able to compete. Maybe it's Ollie who suffers. He takes, United as far as he can, gets to transfer windows, gets a few signings, loses his job, and the next manager has the benefit of a fact that, this guy's done all that legwork, he's dealt with these bellends for so many transfer windows, he's refreshed the squad, got the players in that we needed, now I can take it on. Like, the club's just working in weird ways, and it's because of the owners. The direction comes from the top. One of the things that annoyed me with what Patrice Evra said, I agreed with 90% of what he said, but that little bit about Avram Glazer and all that, it just pissed me off, I'm not going to lie, because they are the reason, why we are where we are. So there you have it. But anyway, we live in hope that United can get some deals done in spite of them bellends in the next couple of weeks, the next 2 weeks, because that's all we've got. So make sure you're keeping it locked. You're liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining if you can as well. We'll be back tomorrow at 10:30 p.m. With more as well. And we're going to I'm with Steve tomorrow, so we'll get another predictor preview done for the Brighton game. So keep it locked. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'm out of here.